What's up guys, I've been making sure to keep you guys all posted with every sort of new cheese strategy that comes out for any of the bosses in Mount Hyjal and Black Temple. Now keeping to my word on that, there is a new cheese strategy that has come out from China actually for the ILLIDARI Council fight. Now this strategy will actually basically make it so that the Mage mob, the one that casts the Flame Strike, will essentially not really be able to cast that ability, as well as you can actually have one less healer needed because the person tanking that mob will pretty much not take any damage. Yes, that's right, this is going to be a Mage Kite strategy. So if you like any sort of this content where I cover any of the new strategies or how to deal with different encounters and optimize basically anything, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with new ones that come out as more people try things. Really quickly though, shout out to my boys Bishox and Felipe and all the big brains over at the Mage Discord for testing out this strategy and actually diving into a lot of vlogs that are now testing out the strategy now that it's a little bit more known. And it might be not the new meta strategy, although it can make this fight a lot easier, and it also could end up being a lot more useful if you look at some of the alternatives or some of the ways you can actually take advantage of using this strat. So with that being said, let's dive right in. Here we are, and I've got it actually at 1.5 speed, so you can see the actual encounter itself. You can obviously see it is in Chinese, as well as this is from Bilibili, the Chinese streaming service. I cannot put it at a higher quality, unfortunately. I can only get 480p unless I have a account myself. You can see the pull is initiated the exact same way as normal, and then the mage just pumps a lot of threat into the mage boss. He's just going to tank the boss right there, and then he's just going to start kiting the boss. I'm actually going to start this off at normal speed right here so you can see what happens. Once he has a ton of threat, he's got 26k threat, he's going to just start kiting the boss around this entire pillar. And the first time he's actually taking the boss around, he has a healer with him. So the normal healer that's going to be basically protecting him, because there's quite a bit of damage that's going to be taken the very first time as you're starting to get a little bit more distance away from the boss itself. You can see some of the actual arcane missiles from the boss will go through onto this mage tank as we're watching, and then the priest healer that's with him is gonna no longer be pretty much hanging out with them. As long as no one's in range of this boss, he's not going to cast the flame strike. You can see that he did one early on, and that will be the only flame strike actually, I believe, of this entire encounter. Then the mage healer is just going to be a healer for the normal people in the fight. So this means you can run one less healer actually, as long as you can stay alive early on. You do need to still maintain spell steal, so you can see that the mage stops for a second to get that spell steal off, but then he's just going around. If a cast does go off, I need to say, if you ever run too close to the edges, you might get teleported back to the boss, but then you can just speed up. You also should have rocket boots on if you're going to do this strategy, so you can just blast away from the boss. But if you ever do take damage, then you're just going to get drive-by healed as you run by right here. So you can see the healer just throws like a prayer of healing on him and throws a shield on him and a mending on him, and then you just run away. The boss, you can still see him is the square. As long as you're far enough away from him, he's going to keep chasing you instead of casting Flame Strike on the rest of the raid. This trivializes basically one of the most important abilities in this fight, the Flame Strike itself. The only thing you might have to worry about, and this is where you'll need a health stone, is you still can get targeted by the stealth mob, the actual rogue mob, where he does his envenom on you and the deadly poison. If that happens, all you need to do really is just make sure you do a health stone, and you should be fine every time running back to basically reach your healers. Now this was a longer fight here, but we could see this actually being optimized in some speed runs where we run a less healer. That's kind of like the goal of speed runs, is to run one less healer every time. And if so, you don't need to have a dedicated healer just sitting there on the mage tank. You can actually have someone who just does drive-by heals whenever the mage needs it, right? It also trivializes a lot of raid damage because the Flame Strike is generally the highest dealing damage ability, and it's the one that's pretty much unavoidable. You take the initial tick from it no matter what, and then the extra damage is something you can get out of. So it's one of the scariest abilities, and it fully trivializes that. Anyways, this is just a simple strategy to pretty much cheese this encounter and make it a lot easier, especially if you're having any sort of struggles with healing, with raid damage, because this encounter actually is one where we're seeing all of the issues being completely on having more healing and raid damage. So go in there, guys. Feel free to test out this strategy for yourself. It might get patched, like the Archimon thing got patched a little bit after we released the video, a couple days after, so it might get patched, but this might remain one of the easiest strategies, and it might end up being extremely useful, where you can drop a healer, or if you're having struggles with heals, you pretty much just have your mage tank kite this around, and you could see again, only one flame strike went out the entire time. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I wanted to share this cheese strategy with you all so you can just all be optimized whenever entering any of these raids. I am releasing all of my parse guides, and the Black Temple parse guide should be coming soon, the finalized version, now that we're in phase 3.5 according to Warcraft logs, and a few things are changed. So that will be specific to hunters, but every class will be really useful there. And I did release my Mount Hydril guide as well, so make sure to check that out somewhere in one of those corners. Last thing, make sure to catch me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Sarthe. And again, if you like the video, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys all on the next one.